Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Electrical YouTube channel. So in the series of the solution series, that is previous year solutions of the previous year diploma questions for West Bengal board. So we will be discussing today the subject that is transmission distribution of power, that is power systems. So this is Devashish Bose, having 10 plus years of experience in different fields and done my BE and ME from Jabalpur University. So to give you some idea about who we are and what we do, so first of all let me tell you that there is SSC JE is one of the major exams that we are giving coaching. That is SSC JE examination will be having around in the month of October. So 2021 SSC JE 2021 we will be giving, the batches are on. Basically our batch, that is June batch, is admissions are going on. If you are interested, you can directly contact us at the contact number 833-506-7725. So now let us continue with the course. First of all, the question that was given, you can see, आप देख सकते हैं कि choose the correct answer from the given alternatives. The first question that they have given is transmission line connects. Transmission lines is a part we all know that connects which parts. So first option is given generating station to a switching station slash step down transformer station. Okay. Next is step down transformer station to a service transformer banks. Next, distribution transformer to consumer premises. Next, service points to consumer premises. So out of these four options, I'll be pause the video here and just try to answer the question. So now let me tell you the answer of this question. The answer of this question is generating station to a switching station or a step down transformer. See all the options that are there. That is the second option. You can see step down transformer station to a service transformer bank. Generally this is within a substation. This thing we can find within a substation. So whenever there is within a substation, we do not require any transmission line. The next part is distribution transformer to consumer premises. We call this specifically as service mains. We call this basically as service mains. Sorry for the background noise. Service points to the consumer premises. Service points to the consumer premises is also the same thing. Distribution transformer to the consumer premises, basically we call it as the supply that we are giving through the distributor, and this part is basically we call it as service mains. That is service points to a consumer premises is basically service mains, we basically call it. Okay, so the next question, which law determines the economic size of the conductor? The options are given here: Lenge's law, Kelvin's law, Norton's law, or none of this. So out of these four options, first pause and try and answer, then see my solution. The answer is Kelvin's law. Okay, so economic size of the conductor is dealt in the equation of the Kelvin's law. All these law, for Lenge's law we all know, that is Lenge's law is a part of which equation, that is Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. It just modifies the equation. Norton's law we all know, that is our network analysis, part of network analysis. So the option will be B. See the third question they have given here is the primary transmission system is done by. So you can see all the options are here: 3-phase 3-wire, 3-phase 4-wire, 3-phase 5-wire, 3-phase 2-wire is also there. So first of all you need to understand one thing, that is first there is a part we call it as generation. We call it as generation. That is where the electrical power is getting generated. Then we generally transmit the power. And we call it as transmission. We call it as what? Transmission. And after transmission, the step that comes, that is called as distribution. We call it as distribution. And last part is what we call it as utilization. Utilization means where the where our this electrical power is getting utilized. Now here transmission, we are dividing it into two parts. That is, one we call it as primary transmission, and that is secondary transmission. In the similar lines, this is primary distribution and that is secondary distribution we are having. Now you can see from the out of these following options, the option that is true is 3-phase 3-wire, because we generally transmit the power in 3-phase 3-wire mode only. Now coming to the next question, between the two supports due to sag in the conductor takes place in the form of. So we all know that whenever there are two poles, when we take the conductor from one pole to the another pole, there is a sag is observed. So this specific shape of the conductor we call it as catenary. Okay, the next question is, suspension type insulators are used for voltages beyond 33 kV, 400 kV, 11 kV or 66 kV. So generally we all know that basically insulators are classified into 4 types. One we call it as pin type insulator, then we call it as suspension type insulator, then there is strain insulators are also there. Okay, then there is strain or shackle insulators are also there. So these are some of the types: pin, then suspension, then strain. These are some of the types. So generally pin insulators are used up to the level of 33 kV. Up to, that means up to this point pin insulators are viable, we can use them. But after that we generally use suspension insulators. So 33 kV is the mark above which we generally use the suspension type insulators. Now let's look at the next question. The next question is, the electrical breakdown strength of the insulating materials depends on electrical breakdown strength of insulating materials. So the insulating materials that are used in the system are basically determined based on the voltage. Now here what they have given is, breakdown will depend on what are the parameters. First is nature of the applied voltage, that is true. Imperfection in the dielectric material, very true, because if there is an imperfection in the dielectric material, the breakdown will occur at a faster rate. Then there is a pressure. So if these two properties are options are correct, and this is also correct, so we can call option D to be the correct answer. Now let's look at the 7th question, that is, if the length of the line is increased, the capacitance will. So what will happen if the length of the line is increased? We always knew for the fact that if this is a line, the capacitances are always connected in parallel. Now how this is connected in parallel we are drawing, because we are considering that in this portion there is, we consider it as ground. So the air is behaving as a dielectric and this conductor is behaving as another plate. So in this case we can observe that if we increase the length of the line, the number of parallel capacitors will increase. And we also from our understanding we know that if two capacitors are connected in parallel, then we generally add them up, so the capacitances values will increase. So if the length increases, then the capacitances will get added up and the total value will ultimately increase. Okay. So coming to the next question, that is, the fact that a conductor carries more current on the surface as compared to the core is known as. So what it is saying? It is saying that if we have a conductor, the current will flow through which part? The current will flow through the outer layers. Why this happens? Because of the reason is skin effect. Skin effect, because there is we all can find one thing, that is the flux linkage. The flux linkage throughout the cross section of the conductor is different. So in the inside the flux linkage is more, whereas in the outer sides the flux linkage is less. So because of this gradient of the flux linkage, there is a change in the reactance throughout the conductor. And if we observe that when we reach near the surface of the conductor, the reactance part is less. As the reactance is less, well, then the current will flow through that part only. That is, in another way we can explain it that way also. Now coming to the last ninth question. The ninth question says that the main drawback of the underground system over the overhead system is. So we generally know that underground systems are very suitable than the overhead system, but there are some problems we generally face nowadays. That is, one is exposure to lightning. Then is heavy initial cost, exposure to atmospheric hazards. So generally exposure to lightning is not correct. Then there is exposure to atmospheric hazard, that is also not correct. Inductive interference between the power communication circuits, that is also not correct, because this we do not find. So the answer is heavy initial cost. The only reason that underground systems are getting held back because of the cost. The cost factor is basically the issue. Now if you check the next question, that is 10th question, it is saying that the capacitance of a transmission line is a dash element. It is a series element or parallel element. What it is, we generally know that it is connected, the capacitors are considered to be connected in parallel. So this is a parallel element, we can say. Now coming to the next question, in a short transmission line, the effects of dash are neglected. Generally we know that in a short transmission line we consider only resistance and inductance of the line, but not the capacitance of the line, because the length is small. So that is the main reason. The value, that is the total capacitance value getting added up, is relatively less. So it has a less effect. That is why we ignore the capacitance. We neglect the capacitance. So coming to the next question, the volume of the copper required for an AC transmission line is inversely proportional to. So see here, here we are talking about the amount or the volume of the copper requirement we are talking about. So a simple explanation or a simple derivation will give us this form. And if we check that this question that was given is incorrect in a way, because we will find here that the values are depending on voltage and frequency, voltage and power factor, and both B and C, the answer will be correct, but it is not so. So just let us check. So we know that for any system, power we can write it as √3 VI cos phi. Here V and I all are line quantities, VL IL cos phi. So I or IL we can write it as P upon √3 VL cos phi, √3 VL cos phi. So this is one form. Another form is that the amount of loss that is happening in the three conductors, we can write 3 into I square R. Now if we replace this I square, we get 3 P square divided by 3 VL square cos square phi, and resistance we can write in the form of rho L by A. We can write in the form of rho L by A. Now we all know that volume is represented as 3A into L. So this A we are replacing from this term. This A is nothing but the cross sectional area. If we replace, so from here we can see one representation comes, that is, if we consider the loss to be W, so A will be coming out to be P square rho L divided by VL square cos square phi into W. Now if we replace here, the value will come out to be 3 P square rho L, then there is here is an L, here is also an L, so L square divided by VL square cos square phi into W. So you can find it that the question was a little bit incorrect. So the actual options will be like this: if it is VL voltage square and power factor square, and that is inversely proportional, that is true, but in the square terms. So this option will has to be true in this manner only. So you have to remember this question in this manner only. The question was given in a wrong fashion. Now coming to the next question, an extra high voltage transmission line, we all know that extra high voltage ranges from 400 kV to 750 kV. Okay, so this is a standard extra high voltage range we know. Then above 750 kV, we generally consider it is as ultra high voltage. You can consider it as ultra high voltage. Ultra high voltage. So coming out to the next question. The next question is, for transmission of the high voltage, better system is HVDC, HVAC, both or none of these. We generally know that if we use HVDC for transmission, the power loss is very negligible. Due to the negligible power loss, we generally prefer HVDC. Some systems are also there in our power systems also, in India also. Now coming to the next question, the 15th question, that is, the major part of the investment on secondary distribution is made on. So we have already seen where the secondary distribution lies. So in secondary distribution, generally the major costing happens in the distribution transformer. The distribution transformer costs the most. The other parts are generally auxiliaries. Okay, so the main cost of the transformer is of the distribution transformer that we use. So the next question is, a three-wire AC distribution makes available dash voltages. So here some doubt may come, but just hear me perfectly. For a three-phase system, we all know. That there are three. If we use three wires, okay. So that means all of them. If we connect voltmeter, suppose this is we are connecting a voltmeter, this is we are connecting a voltmeter, and this is we are connecting a voltmeter. All those readings, suppose this is R, this is Y, and this is B. So all those readings will be same. That is, they will be giving the line voltage of the system. So the only one voltage we can get using a three-phase, three-wire system, three-wire system basically. So one voltage. But if we consider a three-phase, four-wire system, what will happen? For three-phase, four-wire system, will be getting two voltages. That is, one is called as a line voltage and one is called as a phase voltage. So two will be the option when we are using three-phase, four-wire. When we are using, the option will be 2. Now coming to the next question, the current flowing through the neutral of a three-phase 4-watt system is equal to. So we all know that whatever current for a single phase system we are supplying is basically getting returned back to a neutral. But in case of a three-phase 4-watt system, we have to always keep in mind for the fact that actually what is happening is the vector sum of the currents in the phases of the wires are coming back. The vector sum of the currents in the phases of the wires are coming back. So if we consider IR, IY and IB to be the three line currents, we can say like that. See, the current that is flowing through the phase wires, we call it as line currents only. That is in between two lines, that is we call it as line current. And if it is between a line and a phase, we call it as a phase current. So this is basically the summation of all the three. So in a healthy system, we always see that the current, that is IN, is always equals to 0 for a three-phase 4-wire system if the system is balanced, a healthy system. So coming to the next question, which of the equipment is not a part of a substation? In the following systems, you can see switchgear we are finding, booster transformer we do not find, battery charger we can find, capacitor bank we can find. So the answer will be booster transformer. We do not find booster transformer in a substation, because see what is given, not. This not word is very crucial. Always read the questions very carefully, because it will get you in trouble. So next question, the outdoor substation should be located. So we all know the two type of substation we are generally using. One is an outdoor substation, and another is a indoor substation. So outdoor substations are generally very much preferred for some of the reasons, and the locations are basically in the load centers. Where should we use the outdoor substations? Near the load center. Where the load center is there, we can use it. Away from the load center, it will increase the cost. Rural area, that is also true, but mainly at the load center we are focusing on here the answer. The next question is, low type outdoor substation is more suitable than indoor type substation because maintenance is easy, components are accessible, connections are accessible, and all of the above. So you can see that when we are talking about an outdoor substation, in an outdoor substation, these are all the factors. Suppose there is a fault that is happening. If a fault occurs, the clearance of the fault, the maintenance, that is the part of the maintenance, is very much easy in a outdoor substation. The components we can easily find, that is, just by looking into it we can find where the fault has happened. But in the case of an indoor substation, it is very much difficult. And connections are accessible connections are basically in the outdoors only, but in indoors, if you see any picture of the indoor substation, you can already judge from the fact that they are not at all accessible. So the option of this question will be the D, all of the above. Now coming to the next question, the number of discs in a string of insulators of 400 kV AC overhead transmission line lies in the ranges of, generally this range is 400 kV, that means we are using 11 kV per disc. So you can see that this number is coming out 32 to 33 if we divide that 400 kV by 11 kV. Now here next question is, a three-phase four-wire system is commonly used for. What do we use this three-phase four-wire system? We generally use this three-phase four-wire system in secondary distribution. That will be the answer. And in another way, we have already seen that in the primary transmission we have used three-phase three-wire. Okay, in primary distribution also we have used three-phase three-wire. Secondary transmission also we have used three-phase three-wire. But generally in the distribution sections we are using three-phase four-wire. Now coming to the last question, the transmission and distribution of electrical system by underground system is superior to overhead system in the respects of. So here they are saying the transmission and distribution system of the electrical system by underground system is superior to the overhead system, because see what they have given: appearance and public safety. Yes, that is true. Maintenance cost, that is true. Frequency of faults and power failures and accidents, that is also true. So all the above will be the answer. So the question here is basically asking is why the underground system is superior. Why underground system is superior as compared to the overhead system? Because there is the public safety is always there, maintenance cost is also low, and the frequency of occurrence of the faults. Because if we place the transformers outside, that is the outdoor substation, so in case of a natural calamity, the disasters will happen, natural disasters will happen, and that will take back the effects, or it will the maintenance cost will increase, or the damages will be more. So this much for today's session. So what we can see here is the Easy Electrical SSC JEE online coaching that is going on. You all can contact in this number or WhatsApp us for getting any details. So thank you everyone. Thank you for staying up to this point. Thank you.